In this demo, we are going to cover how to set up a file attachment field with naming convention for the generated PDFs that come from FormEngine when a form has either been submitted or updated. To give you guys an idea of what the end result will look like, we'll start here. So from this form that was submitted and the record was created, you can see that I have a file attachment field with a naming convention that shows the employee name, what this request is for, as well as the date that it was requested. Let's get started. In your template, you need to set up a file attachment field. If you have not already created that file attachment field, you'll simply go to your target table, which for this form is asset activities. You go into settings, fields, add a new field. Our file type is going to be file attachment. And then for the field label, I typically try to use something that is going to make sense down the road for giving me an idea of what this form is for, or this field is for. So you could say, FE PDF file attachment. You could say PDF file attachment, something that makes sense for easily understanding what this field, its purpose is. In this particular case, I've already created my file attachment field, which you can see right here, form PDF attachment. So I am going to go into my template, and beside target table, there's going to be verbiage that is a hyperlink. Here you can see that it's already showing my form PDF attachment, which is my file attachment field name. If you have not set up a file attachment field name yet, or a file attachment field, then this is going to show some other text of which I don't remember what that is. Click on this link. And when this dialog box opens, initially you are going to see this drop-down field under Upload Field. You select the drop-down. The only fields that will show up here are file attachment fields within your target table. So you're not going to have to browse through every field that is in your table. Only look at the file attachment fields. Select the file attachment field that pertains or that you just created. And when you do so, then this section is going to expand. Now you can see that there's a place for you to select the file name field. You also have the ability to select the file type. So something that we have provided to our builders and end users is the ability to select what that file, what is it, what type is it going to be when it is generated and uploaded. So default is always going to be a PDF. You also have the ability to select if it's going to be a Word document or a PowerPoint or an image. That is done here. I'm going to leave this as a PDF. You also have the ability to decide if a PDF is going to be generated when a form is just submitted, a record's added, or when a form is used in an update scenario, which would cause a existing record within Quickbase to be updated. Default is submit and update. So anytime a form is used for submitting, what the outcome of a record is created in your application, or when a form is used for updating an existing record. Default is always going to be these two. You also have the ability to select print. So we give you the ability to create print buttons. And if you do that for your use case and then check the print box here, anytime that button is clicked, then a PDF would be generated of the form at that time. So scenarios where that would apply is if you are doing work within your Quickbase application, and then you need to be able to generate the PDF form of the changed data for emailing to a customer. So an invoice, something, or a change order, something along those lines. Now, let's go in and look at how to build out this field that will allow us to apply a naming convention to our file attachment field. If you choose not to do this, then when your PDF is attached to your file field, it is just going to read the name of the template. So in this particular case, my template is HR Central Ashley demo form. All you would see is HR Central dash Ashley demo form. That's not the end of the world. If that works for you, that's default. If you choose to want to apply logic, such as I did here, then that would be the second piece of this demo. So what we need to do is go in and create a formula-rich text field. To do so, click at, and this formula-rich text field does need to be in our target table that the form is pointing to. Click New Field, select formula rich text, there you are. And then again, for the label, I try and give it something that is going to make sense. Typically for these instances, I will list what is it for, and then specify that this is the filing name convention. So a good example, this is my formula rich text field that already exists for my file naming convention. So I put asset request because that's the form. And then I put FE PDF file name. To me, that's what makes sense. That's the naming convention I typically go with. That is just an idea for you to play off of. Once you've created your field, then you can go in and build your formula. So let's talk about this formula for just a little bit. I have brought in my field employee dash full name. So that's going to bring in my employee name. And then I want an underscore between what type of asset request this is. So I put in here, I wanted to hard code request for, and then the asset request, and then again, underscore, hard code, date requested, and then apply the date of the request. So anytime you go in between steps, you need to apply an ampersand, like you see here. And then anything that you want to show up or be a part of the concatenation needs to be in quotation brackets or quotations. So you can see I've got an underscore in between quotations, ampersand to close that piece out. Then next, I've got request for. This is hard coded. Like you can see here, request for. That's inside quotations, ampersand. This is one thing that's a little tricky if you're not familiar with writing formulas. If you want a space, to appear between one word and another word when that second word is part of a field, you need to apply quotations and just a space. So just to kind of show you what that looks like, I've got request for, which is hard coded. And then I wanted a space between for and company. So to have that space, I needed to apply a space with inside quotation. And just to kind of show you, what some changes can be. And then moving on, again, underscore date requested, that's hard coded. I've got my space. And then lastly, this is just going over changing up how the date requested displays. So if your files need to be downloaded and stored on a server or something of that nature, then as you are familiar from a document control standpoint, in order for your files to appear um, in a logical order, you need to start with the year, the month, the day. And I know I did not say that correctly, but for Ashley Solomon, if I submitted multiple requests, multiple asset requests, and they are the same type of request, then going by year, month, day will throw those documents in order. So to do that, I did two formatted text, applied my date of request, and then applied the format in which I want that date to appear. Again, this is just an idea of what you can do. Once you've created your concatenation formula, click Save. Go back into your template. Typically, you are going to want to refresh your template if you are going in between your builder and Quickbase. Again, I already have the field applied here, but in this drop down, all of the fields in your target table are going to show up, but they will show up in alphabetical order. So scroll through, select your file naming convention field. And when you're done, make sure you click Save. And now you are set up. So let's go in and test what that looks like. I'm going to add a new asset request. My asset request is for, let's do parking pass, new hire. Sign my form, date of request, submit. Now, if I go back to my employee record, refresh, and everything load. And now you can see here is my new record. So parking pass, here's the date. And then here is my file attachment with the naming convention. So Ashley M. Solomon, request for a parking pass, and the date that request was made. I can click this. And here is my completed form. That is how you go about setting up a file attachment field for the generated PDFs from FormEngine to go to, as well as a naming convention for those PDFs. I hope that this demo was helpful. Please reach out to us if you have any further questions.